All right, class, we're just going to go over the outline assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up for you. The outline essay prompt can be located under the writing assignments folder in Blackboard. There's a specific prompt. It is saved there as a Word file so that you have the option of editing it yourself, or you can use it to create your own Word document in response, whichever you prefer. I've left that open. But I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and here is the outline template. Okay, so it says, note, the following is an outline template which describes the structure of an essay. It does not deal with MLA formatting. Please make sure you review the MLA Quick Guide in the Writing Resources folder before you submit any writing assignment. You may either edit this document to include your responses, or you may start a new Word document and label each part. When you have completed the assignment, please submit it to the Turnitin Dropbox for the outline, which is in the writing assignments folder. Please don't confuse the Dropboxes, because if you put your outline in the essay Dropbox, that's going to cause a complication. So the first thing that you have on the outline is your pre-writing. So this is what you need to do before you actually start writing. So it starts with the strategy. List the rhetorical strategy that you will use for this essay. Remember to work only with the strategies specified by the assignment sheet. So in the case of essay 1, this includes compare and contrast, classification and division, cause and effect, and what is the other one? Process. One of those 4. Okay, so you're going to list that first. Which strategy are you going to work with? Then you're going to list your topic. Remember, topics are largely open-ended. You can choose your own topic. By this point, I would say with the essay coming up, if you don't already have a topic, you need to probably reach out to me and ask for some help maybe, or maybe bounce some ideas off me. That would be preferred. But the topic has to match the chosen strategy, okay? So then the next thing you need is a title. List a creative title for your essay. Remember that the title should be descriptive, specific, and captivating. Consider using the title/subtitle format. So here's an example. Help the Kelp, how saving kelp forests can improve marine ecosystems. The first part is the title, Help the Kelp. The second part is the subtitle, how saving kelp forests can improve marine ecosystems. All right, now once you've done that, the pre-writing is over. Then you get to the intro paragraph, which you remember from my lecture. There are 3 parts to the intro paragraph. That's the hook, the line, and the sinker. So the hook is the strong attention getter. Always start each essay with a strong attention getter. Hooks may include, but are not limited to, relevant quotes, striking statistics, vivid and descriptive imagery, and appeals to powerful emotions. Hooks should be between 1 and 3 sentences in length. If you have not developed a completed hook, please give a general idea of what you will do to gain the reader's attention. So there's a couple of lines for your hook. And remember, you don't have to have all of this stuff polished and worked out to the point where it's absolutely finished. But if you're like, if you don't know your hook specifically, but you're like maybe a striking statistic about, you know, how many packets of ramen noodles are eaten globally worldwide every year. You know, that kind of thing. You can just list like what your idea for a hook is if you don't have the actual hook. Next comes the line. Remember, the line section is for all relevant contextual information that is needed to support the thesis statement. This may include, but is not limited to, historical information, contextual details, and definition of key concepts or jargon. The line section should be between 3 to 5 sentences. If you don't have a completed line, please give a general idea of what information you need to provide for your thesis to make sense. And remember, you only need to provide as much context as you need for the thesis to make sense. So if you're writing about a certain video game, like let's say you were doing your essay on the process of how to play, I don't even know any video games anymore, Skyrim, I don't know, that's a name that comes to mind. You would need to tell me like what Skyrim is about, maybe some of the terminology, like if there's HP or, you know, experience points. You need to define that kind of stuff and give a general idea of the contextual information. So what do you need to know? That's what goes in the line. Okay, then you got a couple of lines for the line. Remember that you don't have to have it all completely polished. You can just mention the general context. Maybe bullet points or something would be okay. Then comes the sinker. The sinker is the thesis statement, which constitutes the main idea of the essay. The best thesis statements are specific and concise and often include some indication of the way the essay will be structured, such as the mentioning of subpoints. The thesis should be one, maybe two sentences in length. Please include a draft. Now, I would like a working thesis statement. This is one thing on the essay that I would like you to have this already sorted out. If you have a thesis going into next week, you're doing pretty good. So an example, there are 3 essential steps to making a peanut butter sandwich. Gathering the ingredients, assembling the sandwich, and plating and serving, right? That's a thesis statement. It has subpoints. You then extrapolate the subpoints into topic sentences. So that brings us to the next part. Part 3, the essay body. So after the intro comes the body of the essay. It consists of 3 body paragraphs. Each body paragraph, and a lot of students get this, they miss this for essay 1 for some reason. Each body paragraph must begin with a strong topic sentence as the very first sentence of the paragraph. The topic sentence should establish the main idea of the paragraph in its entirety and should relate directly to the thesis statement and or one of its subpoints. So if you recall the thesis statement I just brainstormed about the peanut butter sandwich, the first step there was gathering the materials. So you could say, to gather the materials, first go to the local grocery store and acquire all of the utensils and ingredients that you need to create your sandwich, right? That would be a good topic sentence. So then, after the topic sentence, you need supporting details. Each body paragraph requires supporting details which expand upon and support the topic sentences. Around 3 to 5 sentences should be devoted to supporting details. In addition, strong transition words should be implemented to improve the flow. Consult the textbook chapters for recommendations on transitions to use for your particular chosen strategy. So list your rough supporting details below. Now, again, you don't have to have your whole paragraph written, but if you need to maybe mention, like if you're doing a process, do a couple of quick bullet points about the different things you're going to cover in this paragraph. Okay, that's really what I'm looking for. Then comes a transitional statement. And transitional statements aren't really required, but they're a good idea. It's often a good idea to include a transitional sentence that facilitates a shift between this paragraph and the next one. So include your rough transition, okay? And then you're basically just going to repeat this process 2 more times. You start with topic sentence 2, okay, going back to the sandwich. That's the assembly of the sandwich. So to assemble the sandwich, first spread the peanut butter on the bread, then add jelly and any other accoutrement, and lastly, remove the crust to taste. Okay, that's a pretty good sentence, topic sentence. Then comes the supporting details. Now you're going to go into more detail about, like, get more specific and more detailed about how you go about spreading the bread. What's the best way to spreading the peanut butter. What's the best way to spread the peanut butter? Does certain peanut butter spread more easily than others? Is chunky and smooth? Does that factor in? What kind of knife should you use? These are the kinds of supporting details that you can include in the body paragraph. So list your supporting details for paragraph 2. And then, like the first time, we end with a transitional statement. You're going to do this 1 more time for paragraph 3, okay? And remember, just bullet points or mentioning of the supporting details. You don't need to have it all worked out. This is basically just like creating a map for your essay so that when you sit down to write the essay, you've got something to go on. So it's important to take the outline seriously, but I'm not requiring you to really have everything sorted out or know everything you're going to do. Okay. Then comes the transitional statement. You do the transitional statement, you move into the conclusion. Part 4 is the conclusion. Contrary to what you have heard from previous instructors, it is not ideal for the conclusion to repeat or summarize the essay. A lot of instructors say, hey, just summarize the argument you've already made. Just, give a summary so that your reader takes away a concise version of your argument. But to me, it's almost always redundant. It's like, I've already spent 10 or 15 minutes reading the rest of your essay. Why do I need to read it again in condensed form at the end? It doesn't make any sense. So it's much better for you to use your conclusion to achieve the tone of closure, right? It's a tonal thing. If you're ever watching a speech from someone and they say, and so, furthermore, the issues we face today are, and so then you start gathering your book and packing your backpack. You're getting ready to go, right? Because that person has conveyed to you the tone of closure, the idea that the essay is, or the speech is concluding. So to do this, consider addressing open-ended questions. You can make predictions. You can tie in peripheral issues that may have not fit into the body paragraphs. You have a lot of freedom in the conclusion, right? Freedom to make predictions, freedom to brainstorm, freedom to bring in peripheral stuff. But the one thing you don't want to do is repeat yourself. I always refer to the conclusion as the least important and the most difficult part of the essay. It's the least important because you've already written most of 3 pages, and that's really the bulk of your thoughts, your ideas in your essay. And so what else do you say, right? And it's the least important because, you've already said everything. So use it to give a tone of closure, to leave your reader thinking, to bring in some stuff that you couldn't get to, because remember, your body paragraphs are very rigid in terms of the structural requirements. Like, you have to have a topic sentence, you have to have a supporting details, it has to be related to the topic sentence. If you stray away from the topic sentence and the supporting details, then you've gotten off topic. So you can't really bring in this stuff, extra stuff that's peripherally related, stuff that you want to mention but you can't, because the body paragraphs, their structure is so rigid that it doesn't really let you do it. But in the conclusion, you have a lot of freedom. So exercise that freedom, achieve the tone of closure, and leave me wondering or thinking about how awesome your essay was. Okay, so after that, of course, if you're doing a works cited, you would have a works cited. But this is pretty much the outline. So please do the best you can with it. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you want a good grade on it, you want to have your essay pretty well mapped out so that when you go to sit and write it, it comes pretty easily. So please email me if you have any questions, and I hope you have an excellent week.